super simple play. Let's go on a field trip with Caitie's classroom. Hi, friends. Welcome to the Terra Cotta Conservation Area in Ontario, Canada. Look at all these beautiful trees. Look at this one. It's so tall. This is a maple tree. And you can tell it's a maple tree a couple different ways, but the easiest way is by looking at its leaves. Maple leaves have 5 pointy ends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 big points. Well, that's a maple tree, all right. But this is no ordinary maple tree. This is a sugar maple tree. That means that inside is a sugary sap that we use to make maple syrup. Have you had maple syrup before? It's a dark brown sugary syrup that we pour on pancakes and waffles and all sorts of yummy things. And it comes from maple trees. There's lots of sugar maples at the Terra Cotta Conservation Area, and today we're going to learn how to make maple syrup. Let's go meet up with my friend Evan, and he'll teach us how we go from maple tree to maple syrup. Come on. Hi, Evan.
Hi, Caitie.
Evan, these are my classroom friends.
Hi, friends.
Friends, this is Evan. He knows all about maple syrup.
I do.
And hey, take a look at this. So this bucket is gathering that sugary sap that I was telling you about from inside the tree. But I'm not really sure how the sap gets from inside the tree into the bucket. How does that work, Evan?
Well, Caitie, we drill a small hole into the tree, and then we tap a spile into the tree, and sap flows out and into our buckets.
Oh, so this is the spile here? Mm-hmm. And so it goes from inside the tree and drips into the bucket.
That's right.
Oh, and how much sap will one tree make? Will it fill this whole bucket?
It will. Over the course of a season, one tap will produce about 40 buckets of sap.
40 of these buckets?
That's right.
That is a lot of sap.
It sure is. We need it to be cold at night and warm during the day for sap to flow for us to collect it. And that's why in Canada, we have perfect conditions for collecting sap and making maple syrup. Most of the world's maple syrup actually comes from Canada.
Wow, most of the world's maple syrup comes from Canada. That's incredible. Mm-hmm. And it makes sense that it happens in the spring because that's when we have cold nights and warm days.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, can we take a look inside the bucket?
Yeah, and we can taste it too.
Okay, let's see. Huh, well, it doesn't look like maple syrup. Let's see. Well, it tastes sweet, but it doesn't taste like maple syrup either.
No, we need to bring these buckets back to our sugar shack so we can boil it down and make maple syrup. Do you think you could help me carry the buckets back?
Yeah, okay. Let's see. Oh, wait. This is actually really heavy.
Why don't we try using a yoke?
Okay.
So this is a tool that early settlers would have used to collect sap from the sugar bush.
And you can get 2 buckets.
That's right.
Okay, let's try it. Like this?
You got it.
All right.
There we go.
Whew. Well, this seems like a lot of work.
It is. Today, we actually use plastic tubing to collect our sap. All of the tubing flows down into one big tank. And then we get our tractor and we bring it out, collect the tank, and take it to our sugar shack where we boil down our maple syrup.
Well, that seems a lot easier.
It is.
But this is fun to try.
Yeah. Do you want to go check out where we make maple syrup?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's go.
I got this up. Whoa, okay, here we go. Woo. I did it.
Good job.
Hey, there's a fire here.
Yeah, that's right, Katie.
nice.
We need heat and fire for evaporation to make maple syrup.
Ah, so this is how the maple syrup's made.
That's right. This is called the 3-pot method, and this is how early settlers would have made maple syrup in Canada. Sap from the maple tree is collected and brought over into the first pot here. And as the water evaporates from the sap, it slowly boils down until it's into maple syrup. And that is in our last pot over here.
Well, that pot's a lot smaller. I get it. So all the sap gets heated up so much that most of it evaporates away. And then what's left in the small pot has all the sugar in it, and that's the maple syrup.
That's right.
Oh, well, it seems like this would take a long time.
It does. Using the 3-pot method would take about 3 days to make maple syrup.
Wow. Well, do you still do it this way?
No, today we use a modern evaporator at our sugar shack. Our evaporator has 2 pans. The back pan is called the flue pan, and that's where most of the evaporation happens. And then the sap transfers into the front pan called the finishing pan. We pour it off the finishing pan into a bucket, and then we transfer it to our bottling station to be bottled for maple syrup.
That seems a lot easier.
It is.
And a lot faster, too.
Definitely. It takes 1 day to make maple syrup in the evaporator.
Wow, so you can make a lot more maple syrup that way.
You can.
Amazing. Well, how did somebody figure all this out? How did they know to take sap from a tree and boil it to make a delicious syrup?
Indigenous peoples in Canada were the first to discover maple syrup, and because they didn't have metal tools, they would use a sharp rock or a deer antler to cut a slit into the tree about 4.5 inches wide, and sap would flow from the tree into a birch bark basket. It would then be transferred into a clay pot where hot rocks around a fire would be placed around the pot, and it would be boiled down to make maple sugar.
That sounds amazing. So the way that maple syrup has been made has changed a lot.
It has.
But it seems like you always need to start with sap from a maple tree.
You sure do. You need about 40 buckets of sap to make 1 bucket of maple syrup.
Wow, that's a lot of sap and a lot of trees to make a little bit of maple syrup.
That's right.
Well, I thought maple syrup was good before, but now I think it's so special.
It really is. Let's head over to the taffy station for a special treat.
Should we do that, friends? Let's go try it.
Let's go.
Okay, Evan, so what's this special treat?
This is called maple taffy, and I'll tell you a little secret. You can make this at home.
Ooh.
So what we do is we take maple syrup and we boil it down even more until it's really thick. And then we pour it out over ice or snow, roll it with a popsicle stick, and then you've got maple taffy.
Oh, yeah, it sounds like something we could try at home. Well, can we try it now?
Yeah, let's try it.
Okay. Oh, looks delicious. Wow. That is really sweet. That's the most mapley maple syrup I've ever tried. It's so good. So is this your favorite way to eat maple syrup?
This is one of my favorite ways to eat maple syrup, but I really like maple syrup on my pancakes.
That is really good. Ooh, you know what? Sometimes I like to drizzle maple syrup on my vegetables. Yeah, on Brussels sprouts, some roasted Brussels sprouts, that's really yummy. Well, maple syrup's good on anything, really.
It is. We want to take care of our forests and take care of our trees so that we can keep tapping them and collecting sap and making maple syrup. A tree has to be 30 to 40 years old before we can put 1 tap into it.
Wow, that's older than me.
Yeah, and as the tree gets a little bit bigger, we can put 2 taps, and then a little bigger after that, we can put 3 taps, but that's about as many as we want to put into our trees.
And that way we can make sure that there's always maple syrup for people to enjoy.
That's right. If we follow those practices, we're only taking a small amount of the sap that the tree needs to grow throughout the year.
Well, the trees give us so much. They give us sap for maple syrup, but so many other things too. So it's important that we look after them too.
It sure is.
Well, Evan, thank you so much for teaching us about maple syrup. This has been really interesting and very delicious.
You're welcome, Katie.
You know, I have another thank you I want to say. So I'll take my friends with me to go say thank you, but thank you very much,
Okay.
and I'll see you later.
Okay, bye friends. Bye, Caitie.
Bye. This is what I wanted to say thank you to. The trees. Thank you, maple tree, for your gift of sap that we use to make maple syrup, and for all the other wonderful things that you do. You are amazing. There's really so many things about trees to be thankful for. The next time you're outside, you might like to try saying thank you. And if you have a chance to try maple syrup, you should definitely do that because it is delicious. Thank you so much for coming along with me to learn about maple syrup today. It's a very special part of Canada, which is where I'm from. I'll see you again next time, friends. Bye.